the rogue fox. What are you gonna do, buddy? Monday morning ritual is Sunday morning ritual is drink cappuccinos and pretend we're in Italy. Maverick's not loving the visitor though. Maverick. You're not stoked on that, are you? Sunday morning, have a little bit of a routine, and I hate routine. Like, routine for me is it's just painful. I don't ever drive the same way into work. I don't ever start my morning the same way. But Sundays are special, because Sundays I get up, have a cappuccino with the wife. We talk about the week and the week ahead, and then I go and I have what it's called the BJJ Breakfast Club. All that is go train jiu-jitsu. That is the BJJ Breakfast Club. Only need one other person for jiu-jitsu. That's the beautiful thing about it. And jiu-jitsu for me, everything in life I have is because of jiu-jitsu. I've been training jiu-jitsu for 20 years. It's how I built my businesses. I used the philosophies and techniques, timing, balance, leverage, angles, knowing when to tap out, knowing when to apply pressure, when you gotta escape. So jiu-jitsu is everything. And now we're gonna go get some jiu-jitsu. Ah, the inner sanctum, the mats. House radio sometimes. I'll do classic rock sometimes, something else. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. was round 3. We're doing 4 10-minute rounds. No break. This is round 4. All right, a little technique. We just did 45 minutes of training. Dylan, one of my black belts, started with me when he was 19. How old are you now?
31.
31. 19 to 31. This guy really needs to be on his hip. All right, and I don't want him on his hip. I want to find a way where I'm always walking him back, right? Flat. So this, I'm going counterclockwise. If he was on his other hip, right, I would try to walk him clockwise to flatten him out. So the problem is if he's got both his knees in the game, this is a problem, right? I can't just pass him because he has all these controls with his knee. He can push me, he could grab my neck, he could pull me, right? So he can control that distance like a seesaw. That's a problem. So I need to take away his lever. And the fastest way to do that is to walk his hips flat. So I'm gonna go on his hip. I'm gonna bring my knee up and post and scoop this leg here. I'm gonna get my elbow inside. I'm gonna walk him, his hips flat. Now at this point, I wanna isolate this knee. I wanna start to get it past my body so I can get into a better control. And so I'm gonna feed it under my arm here. Now I can control this wrist here, right, to keep it out of the game. This is also gonna keep his hips turned like a corkscrew. So I'm like turning his hips like this, right? My body's going this way while this arm is controlled. So he can't really turn without that arm. And because I'm so heavy, the points of contact I have, he's feeling the pressure, is my knee, is my kind of my inside shoulder control, plus this wrist. Okay, so I have lots of points of contact, and I might control this hip also. Now, what I want to do is I want to drive across my knee to the mat here. At this point, I could go behind his head, I could control his wrist, I could just kind of plant under his armpit. I could even step this leg through, which is what I'm gonna do, heavy. Now, hook, head under his chin, and smash him here. So I wanna drive the most, let's just say the most important part of his spine, which is his neck. I'm gonna drive it away. I don't want him to look at me, right? So I could put my head in his shoulder if I wanted to, but I like to go under the chin. Under the chin. Now, if I need to fight for this, I can. It depends on what I need. Okay, but ultimately, I'm gonna try to go to mount. I'm not gonna fall back for a leg lock because I'm old, and I just wanna get into mount and put all my 275 pounds of freaking Maine lumberjack on top of him and feed him a little mother's milk, right? So I'm here, head under the chin. This knee is gonna drop inside his armpit, hug his head. I'm gonna grab under his lat so I can smash his face and slide him out. Right, when I come under his head, when I came into mount, I lifted his head under his lat and slide him out. Now I'm in a beautiful position. And two things. If I want to attack his arms, right, I'm gonna attack his neck. If I want to attack his neck, I'm gonna attack his arms. That's a very simple concept, right? So I'm here, I wanna climb higher. I can kind of attack his neck with an Ezekiel, whatever I wanna do. I could even just bring a forearm across his neck, but I wanna make his arms come up and defend, right? And now I can climb. Once I'm here, look, feet in his hips, forward, climb, S-mount, and I finish from the top. I don't really like to fall back from here either. I'd rather just finish from here, boom. That's a little jiu-jitsu technique. All right, we got that training. Jiu-jitsu. Man, my Sunday's jiu-jitsu, my breakfast club sets me up for the week ahead, right? So it clears my mind. I'm not thinking about anything else. You know, having ADHD. Like it's 24/7. You're thinking about things. You jump from thought to thought. It's like a mariachi band in your freaking head. And so jiu-jitsu for the ADHD personality, I would say for any entrepreneur, anybody trying to actually find upward trajectory in life, jiu-jitsu is necessary. I say give it 6 months. Listen, if you can't give it 6 months, quit. Just quit everything you're trying to do, because that means you don't want to use the greatest gift on planet Earth, better than any freaking book, any freaking podcast, jiu-jitsu. I built everything with jiu-jitsu. Like I was saying, it teaches you how to think under pressure. When you have somebody smashing you, when you have somebody sweating on you, when you can't breathe, when your arms are stuck and being hyperextended, when your neck is getting choked, that's pressure. And that physical pressure, that physical chess match is undeniable. There's nothing else in the world like it. Not freaking boxing or taekwondo or judo, anything. Nothing. Because you're playing a game where you're trying to kill your friends. And in business, people are trying to kill you every day. Competitors want to kill you every single day. And so for me, jiu-jitsu is the only way to run my business. Like I said, jiu-jitsu teaches you about timing. Timing in business is everything. Timing in life. Angles. What angles do I have? Escaping, right? When I gotta go hard, when I gotta apply pressure, or when the pressure's being applied and I need to escape. I need to find those angles and balance. I need to change my levels. And it's all under pressure. And my whole business, my brands, were built using jiu-jitsu. Nothing more, nothing less. Didn't go to business school. Dropped out of college as an art major. But jiu-jitsu for 20 years, I started in my mid-20s, was the greatest thing I could have done for myself as an entrepreneur, businessman, as a father, as a husband, as a peer, and as a leader. Jiu-jitsu.
That's how you ruin a vlog if you ever want to do that more.
Leftover lobster egg bites. Looking pretty good, that one.
They won't be mounded. They'll be like one-sided.
Oh, come on, a couple seconds. That was really good. Yeah, that was good.
A little longer.
Oh yeah, I probably could put a little bit more in.
Hello, guys.
Look at him. He's cute. Get out.
Walked into lobster egg bite hitters. Let's go. Wow, damn. I didn't know what to expect. Those are freaking phenomenal. Really good. So I didn't take supplements my whole life. Not until I started a supplement company. I just didn't trust what was out there. And in 2016, we started a nutritional division of Origin just for jiu-jitsu athletes. And obviously that has morphed into kind of an empire at this point with Jocko Fuel. I'm getting my protein hitter. I forgot to take a sip off of it. So it's like not a lot of space. Usually I take a sip before I put the creatine in, but I failed to do that. I never took creatine. Didn't take creatine in college. Didn't take protein in college. None of that. Freaking good. It's like I got cocaine all over my desk, freaking creatine everywhere. Didn't take any supplements, nothing. Never taken steroids, never taken human growth hormone. I've never taken anything. But part of the reason we started making supplements was not only for performance, but as your body ages, there's shit it needs. And sometimes you just can't get that on the go. You know, we live in a very busy society. It's hard to get over 200 grams of protein every day and not consume a ton of other shit with it. To get the amount of creatine you'd have to eat a bunch of steak. As far as like the vitamins and minerals and NAD3, I need I'd really have to prepare my life around just simply eating. Now, who the hell has time to prepare their life around eating? Unless your job is to be jacked and show the world what you eat every day. But my mind is somewhere else. I'm not ever thinking about what I'm going to eat. Normally, I binge. I'll binge on not eating, and then I'll binge on eating. But I never really think about it. Over the years, I've gotten better at balancing my macros as I balance the business's macros, time, capital, capacity. I also balanced my own macros, protein, carbs, and fat. But this is a cheat code. I get up every morning and I drink this right here. A hydration, all the electrolytes. I replace what I lost. And after my training, I go protein. I'll do 1 or 2 of these a day. Of course, energy also. It's really a cheat code. I mean, Jocko Fuel, we wanted to build a cheat code early on when we talked about it. We called it a force multiplier. And every product that we bring to market, we want to be a force multiplier. Not making shit just for the sake of making shit. You know, one of my mantras to the team is, just because we can doesn't mean we should. I want you to think about that for a second. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, we could make every supplement on the planet. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. We could make every type of footwear, every type of clothing on the planet. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. And that's why it's really important to have a product roadmap in business that works. This is core to our product roadmap, our executive strategies, the strategies I gave to the team before I resigned as CEO from Jocko Fuel in January to focus on Origin full-time and hired a new CEO. But before I resigned and now I'm just on the board and obviously owner and founder, I cast this vision for protein. Protein is power, beverage, or bust. There's only 2 executive strategies. If we can live into those executive strategies, protein is power. So let's look at the platforms of protein and beverage or bust. So our primary thing is protein RTD, ready to drink. And so that's like a really simple thing when you think about it. There isn't 18 different strategies and we're going to do a million different things. The team needs to be focused on protein as power, beverage or bust. That's it. Those 2 things. Everything else is going to follow that. This is the wedge and the hammer into the consumer's cupboard, into the consumer's hand. It's a consumable. All this other stuff that we sell, it rounds the offering out. You need this and you need the other stuff, but we're going to lead with this at a lower kind of price point, lower entry point, right? $3 or whatever it is. We're gonna get you into the brand this way, and you're gonna want to consume it every day, and then we're gonna pull you into the other products. So, anyways, I sold this to myself, right? I consume it every day, and of course, I get that combat tested at 46 years old. I need a little testosterone optimizer, and so that's next. Moke.